Hello my friends and welcome back. Happy Monday to you. Not a happy Monday for a certain oil refinery in Russia, the Ilsky oil refinery in Krasnodar, and you can see it on this video actually. You know, a regular Russian experience today might be just going to work or coming from work and just filming another burning oil refinery and posting it online for us to watch. That's exactly what we see over here. It's not any refinery, it's a refinery with a capacity of 6 million tons annually. Ukrainian Special Operations Forces confirmed the destruction of the LOAT-6 unit at the Ilsky oil refinery in Krasnodar Kyiv. Yeah, the thing is, these oil refineries, they're not like these compact areas, they're massive areas of storage facilities, refining towers, pipelines, electrical units. Like there's so much in these oil refinery areas, the premises, that you gotta strike the very specific part you want to destroy. And in this case, it's the heart of it. The installation, with an annual capacity of 6 million tons, handled primary oil distillation and was critical to Russia's production. The operation was carried out together with the resistance group Black Spark. Nice names. Ukrainians always with the very dramatic names, like Sea Baby or Flamingo. And here we can witness the Ukrainian sanctions at work and the sound they make. Very nice. Wow. See, I mean, we have had so many words from Donald Trump and his government about I'm gonna be tough to Russia, but I mean these are the sanctions that actually work. Sanctions, I mean drones. You gotta use force. That's what they understand. Here are some pretty photos also for you to watch. And just to illustrate more how big these refineries really are, if you look at the satellite imagery, I mean, even how many fuel tanks is present in this premise? I couldn't even read them. There's about 20, I think it looks about 20 to 25 fuel tanks. To destroy them one by one, you would need tens and tens of drones, because usually you need several drones per one target. So destroying these fuel tanks would even be quite pointless. The best is to destroy the distilling tower, the cracking tower, and any other high-tech units that Russians cannot produce themselves. By the way, these cracking towers, they're usually made by European companies before the war. So Russians cannot replace them. The oil refinery bingo is a never-ending subject right now. Russians keep filming themselves and filming the gas crisis they have. This is Luhansk, occupied Luhansk.
I'm speechless. Damn, what timing! I just got to the gas station and they're saying it'll be available from 11. Not before 11, before 11! Damn, my dear friend, I would gladly stand in line.
I guess this video has been translated by AI, but this girl is so salty. Luhansk girl.
I absolutely love standing in line, but damn, I have a child I need to pick up and take to the rehabilitation center, you understand? The situation is, without gasoline, I am unable to transport him there, and I genuinely require gas. And at 11 o'clock in the morning,
I mean, this makes it really real for you and me also. We can imagine, oh, there's a gas crisis, ha ha ha, funny. But if you imagine a mother trying to take her son to a rehabilitation center and cannot do so because there's no gasoline, it gets really serious really fast of children suffering because they cannot get to a doctor or cannot get to a rehabilitation center. It gets serious. This woman is making fun, but actually the situation is really sad.
Entire chaos will commence. There will be extensive queues to fill up with gasoline once more, and I will end up without it. How can I not become anxious? It is stated that it is exclusively available with coupons.
So Russians who really wanted the Soviet Union back got exactly what they wanted, because yeah, with coupons back then you could get things, or not really, you needed connections, but you know, on paper you could use coupons. Well, now it's the same.
It is present, but only with coupons, you see? And if you are just an ordinary...
Okay, this girl is yapping a lot, but I understand her seriousness. I mean, she has a son to look after and she cannot do that right now. So it's really serious situation. Just to illustrate even further, I mean, I'm not really sure where this video was made. Not all of them have, like, nobody has geolocated this one. There's a blue sign here that says it, but I haven't done it. Just, you see a Russian flag, of course, but now look at the length of this line. I mean, this is impressive. There's way over 100 cars just for one gas station. And you can imagine that, okay, if it's only 25% of Russian oil refining capability, but it's not that, because if some gas stations are out of gas, all of these customers will go to other ones, which then will run out of gas even faster. You know, it's like a bank run. If people want to withdraw their money all at the same time, it's just, the system doesn't work. Same with gas. 25% is enough to do this. Massive lines in Russia. And it still doesn't end. Oh, a little break? No, it doesn't end. It continues. And here it ends finally. What was it? 200 cars maybe for one gas station? I mean, there's not enough gas in the underground tanks of that gas station for all of that line. So they overwhelmed the gas stations. Now again we go to Mordovia with 300,000 population. They presented a fuel crisis in the local news and they claim they have no idea what this is happening. Why? I don't know. Hey, it's a regular Russian experience. Why don't we have any gas? Our gas stations are empty. Nothing to do. Of course, everybody knows it's because Ukrainians are delivering presents and sanctions to the oil refineries, but they cannot really say it because, you know, no one can speak about this stuff officially. But that's not it. Ukraine struck overnight yet another Russian fuel pipeline. And this time it was a pipeline transporting refined oil products. I'm not sure if it was diesel or gasoline or whichever, you know, fuel type, refined oil maybe, to Belarus. Ukrainian overnight strike at Dobropillia, Bryansk Oblast, targeted the Druzhba pipeline, mainline pumping and dispatch station. And you can see there are two pictures here actually. One of the above one is a video of burning fuel depot, these tanks and this pipeline. Right, let's watch the video. You can just see it then. Look at this one is burning. Another one will be struck. Boom, another form of sanctions. This pump line pumps $21 million of value of fuel daily from Russia to Belarus. So these hits, you might think, oh, a little beam, bada boom, hey, what a nice barbecue. But actually, if you translate it to pure money, I mean, Russia, yeah, a country that earns tens of billions from fuel, right? Hundreds of billions a year, even $1 trillion almost. They still, it equates up to many of these tiny amounts. Not tiny for us, but 21 million compared to tens of billions is not much. But this is a death by 1,000 cuts. 21 million daily lost due to hit on this pipeline. Then tomorrow there's another oil refinery, which equates up to 50 million a day perhaps. And it adds up. Then it's 100 million a day, 200, 500. And soon we're talking about 1/4 of entire Russian revenues taken out. 25% of the refining capability. That's what's happening right now. Here you can also see it on the map so you exactly know what's up. Belarus, right here, it's close to the border of Ukraine and Belarus. And this pipeline, as you can see, goes through all of the length of Belarus. So it transports fuel to Belarusians. That's how easy it is. By the way, what's really funny, it's almost ironic, is that in this very specific pumping station, Dobropillia pumping station, there was a fire drill 9 years ago, and they posted a video about it. Look at them practicing. Even a practicing video in peacetime 9 years ago starts with "Все хуйня, блядь," which is very, if I would translate it, you would lose your hearing. But yeah, this is a fire drill. They're rehearsing exactly for this moment 9 years ago. I'm not sure if their skills really worked out. I think all of these guys are sent to the front anyway. But they have rehearsed for it. They were ready for it on paper. Not really. And now I will end this oil refinery bingo topic with Scott Bessent, United States Treasury Secretary. And he threatens Russia. He threatens that the US is getting ready to hit Russia economically and hit hard. Right, but I've seen Donald Trump talk about this, giving 2 weeks and 2 weeks and 2 weeks all the time, passing his own deadlines. People don't take him seriously anymore. As much as Putin's nuclear threats, people don't take that seriously also anymore. Both of these leaders are full of empty words. And again, here, if I see this threatens that we are ready to put the pressure on Russia, well, yeah, but Ukrainians are actually doing it right now with drones. So the real pressure would be give Ukrainians more drones or more money to buy or make more drones. That's what we're doing here in Europe, at least. So yeah, any kind of pressure that Trump wants to put on Russia, I think Ukrainian drones hitting the oil refineries is the most pain anyone can deliver to Russia. Russian soldiers have been vaping so carelessly lately that the number of barbecues in Russia has skyrocketed. Oh, if they only would have fume, then their oil refineries would not spontaneously combust that often. No vapor, no nicotine, just flavor. Fume is an award-winning flavor air device that delivers great taste without any harmful chemicals. Instead of inhaling vapor, you simply breathe in natural, non-toxic flavors that satisfy the craving without the downside. Yummy. Not like the carelessly vaping Ivan in Russia, enjoying the heat from the burning oil refineries. Psychology shows that stopping a bad habit of cold turkey is very hard on your brain. Fume works by replacing your hand-to-mouth fixation, calming nervous tension through fidgeting, and distracting you from your bad habit with a delicious flavor. You know who else could use the distraction? The whole Russian army, so they would behave. Sleek, portable, built to last, designed with a high quality build and a sleek aesthetic, Fume feels premium in your hand and is easy to take anywhere. Whether you're at work, traveling, or just relaxing at home. Over 500,000 people have already made the switch to Fume as part of their habit change journey. If you're ready to try it for yourself, now's the time. For a limited time, if you order the journey pack using my code Estonian, you'll get a free Fume topper, an awesome accessory to level up your experience. Click the link tryfume.com/Estonian or scan the QR code on the screen to get yours today. Thank you Fume for sponsoring today's video. But now my friends, bad news. Yes, bad news which are really hard to sugarcoat or make fun of because Russia attacked Ukraine with 805 drones. That happened on 7th of September, so yesterday. 9 Iskander missiles and 4 Iskander M ballistic missiles. Iskander cruise and Iskander ballistic are two different Iskanders. Unfortunately, 9 missiles and 56 drones could not be intercepted, and they struck 37 locations across the nation. You see, Ukraine intercepted a whopping amount of 751 targets, which is like mind-boggling. But even if 56 get through, they have their coordinates, and they have a lot of explosives in those drones, 40 to 80 kilogram, depending. And that makes a big enough of a kaboom. If it hits, you cannot ignore it, makes a lot of damage. And it did hit. Where? Well, the cabinet of the ministers building in downtown Kyiv. This is the office of Prime Minister Yulia Sirdenko. Look at that right here. And actually, don't take my word for it, because Yulia, the Prime Minister of Ukraine, made a personal video from the location of that hit. I am Yulia Sirdenko. Oh, sorry, I have to pronounce it right. Sorry. Svirdenko. I pronounced it very wrong previously. Please don't kill me. Svirdenko, Prime Minister of Ukraine. I am now in the building of Ukrainian government. For the first time since the start of the full-scale invasion, Russians struck our government headquarters in the center of Kyiv. You can see the consequences of the attack. The fire on 800 square meters has been put out. Our rescue workers and servicemen continue the work. It looks like Russia is not seeking peace. and is not ready for negotiations. We call our partners to help close our sky. Let's strengthen sanctions against Russia. Let's create the security guarantee system. So yeah, the Prime Minister of Ukraine says it's right from the epicenter. They struck the minister's building. I've walked past this building countless times when I'm in Kyiv. I mean, look at this. This is Krasnodar, right? This is the monument. Everybody's been on this. I mean, this is where Maidan happened. This is Maidan. So it's right here. You can see the smoke column. Everybody who's been in Kyiv has walked past this area. And this is where they struck. 800 drones, my friends. Can you imagine? So Ukrainians were, of course, in Kyiv. They were all forced to the shelters. And I guess Russians are thinking that they, you know, like the Germans with the Blitz, we will bombard Britain to oblivion, to their knees. This is what Hitler was screeching to the German people. But no. It only strengthens the resolve. It strengthens the resolve of the British, and it strengthens the resolve of the Ukrainians, the Kyivans. Here they are singing in the subway, in the shelters. They're singing the anthem. It doesn't look like they're shaking in fear. It doesn't look like they want to surrender. All I can see is a nation bound together even stronger. So it has an opposite effect. The more pain Russia inflicts, the stronger Ukrainians will connect together as a nation. It's a national awakening right now. At this very moment, Russian drones are landing on the city. And I mean, it's yet another Russian atrocity. These Shahed drones, they don't fall randomly. Usually they have coordinates. And sometimes, yeah, they hit a building before they hit it. But I mean, this specific area, it's a horse club near Kyiv. It's too specific. It's too painful of a hit to be a random hit. This was targeted because 3 drones fell into this area. There were horses here on this manege. I don't know how you call it in English, sorry, but this area where they keep the horses. They survived 2 first hits, but the 3rd one hit the horses and the horses died. So this is what the Russians did. They put the coordinates in, I guess they Googled it, found out what this place is. They wanted to kill these horses. And they did. And here you can see the owner is just crying and being very sad about it. It's deliberate. This is no accident here. They just want to kill the horses. I cannot like justify it or say this. They do it because I don't understand it. I cannot. So I'm from a good country. My values are different. It's very hard for me to understand this. I could understand hitting a military facility because you want to destroy other countries' military, but killing horses doesn't fit in my head. All right, my friends, time to travel to the front, and specifically Dobropillia breakthrough section. I mean, we call it Dobropillia breakthrough. It's not a breakthrough anymore ever since the first Azov Corps was deployed, and they have really pushed the Russians back. The grey area you see right here is all of the liberated land from this dangerous breakthrough in the northern section of Bakrovsk. You can see they have, first Azov Corps has liberated 6 villages, 6 settlements. And now I give you a summary of this specific Dobropillia bunny years, they call it, breakthrough that Azov has pushed back. So what are the numbers? What are the Russian losses? It all started on 4th of August. And now it's September 8th. This was posted on September 5th. So it's 1 month of Dobropillia battles. Russians have taken 3,700 casualties. KIA 2,427. WIA 1,208. POW 65. Equipment losses 20 tanks, 41 armored combat vehicles. It's a very little amount of tanks though, because as you know, Russians don't really use that much tanks anymore because they just don't have any. That's how it is. It might be very hard to accept that Russians don't have tanks. I mean, they have hundreds and hundreds of tanks, but they would need thousands and thousands to do these massive tank charges they used to do 2 years ago. They're not producing that much. They're producing about 100, 150 brand new tanks a year. 127 motorcycles, ATVs and cars, 2 MLRS-78 artillery pieces, 126 UAVs. And you can see that with these numbers still they are losing the positions they took. But different information comes out from different Ukrainian units in this area. And I quote you now, 7th Air Assault Corps, which is semi-elite forces of Ukraine. They're more elite infantry in Ukraine. I mean, you hear air assault, you might think, okay, air assault, paratroopers. But in both sides, Russia and Ukraine, these are forces who get better training and better equipment. So that's that. I quote, experienced marine infantry units and a lot of equipment have been transferred by the Russian Federation to the front lines near Pokrovsk for the so-called decisive breakthrough in Donbass. The primary goal of the Russian Federation is to capture the Pokrovsk-Kramatorsk-Slavyansk agglomeration. And you can see, of course, they are trying to Kramatorsk, Slavyansk, they are making a huge pincing maneuver around those and around Bakrovsk also. So they are pushing everything they have into this sector. And it's not only me, and this specific source, it's very different sources who claim this. But now, my friends, I want to bring you Budanov, because Budanov has information that others doesn't. He's that kind of a guy. He has connections in a spy network in Russia and in the ministries also. So whenever he says something I'm about to quote to you, people take it seriously, and I take it seriously. The Kremlin plans to invest about 1.2 trillion in military programs. $1.2 trillion we're talking about, says the head of the Ukrainian intelligence, Kirill Budanov. According to him, these are serious programs and enormous funds that will be spent exclusively on army modernization. Budanov also answered a question in an interview with Apostroph about whether Russia will attack Europe. And here is the answer: not now, but closer to 2030. It's an absolute reality. So we are taking this very seriously here in Estonia. We are getting ready. I mean, the truth is right now, Estonia is getting ready for war with Russia. That's the plain truth here on the ground. Same with Latvia, Lithuania, and Finland, and Poland most of all. Poland now being a $1 trillion economy, they passed that milestone about half a month, maybe a month ago, being in a club of only 20 countries all around the world, having over $1 trillion economies. One of them now is Poland, and they really hate the Russians, and they're really, really militarizing. So all of the let's call it Eastern Bloc, former Eastern Bloc. It's so bad to call it that, but we are getting ready to fight and defeat the Russians. So that's the reality here. But now, my friends, I don't know if you have wondered. I have. I've seen 2 or 3 different Bayraktar videos already coming out from the frontal areas. I mean, they usually flew around Kyiv and destroyed the columns in March 2022, but now we're seeing them close to the front and even close to Crimea at some points, close to Kherson. In the last month, I've seen 2 to 3 videos. So what's up? Are the Bayraktars back? We all love the song. We would all love them to be back. How can they fly again? Well, here's the answer. Over the last couple of weeks, Russian forces lost a substantial amount of air defense assets in occupied Crimea, as well as the occupied parts of Kherson and Zaporizhia. Especially the radar components have been targeted. The concentration of Russian air defense assets in Ukraine's south being destroyed might be the reason for re-emergence of Ukrainian Bayraktar drones. And I remember last week watching Ukrainian Hur drones flying to Crimea and picking out these radars one by one, half of them being static, built in the Soviet times, static on the ground. These bubbles, these bubbles, such beautiful targets. They are expensive, and Russia will definitely not be fixing them. I mean, if they will be destroyed again. But that means that the skies are not monitored that well anymore, that frequently. So there are holes in certain areas where a Bayraktar could fly without being detected. And that's why we're seeing them again, and I'm glad. Alright, my friends, this is the time for monthly members of Buy Me a Coffee, and I have to present to you two new names who joined up. Paul Kelly and Timothy Boyd Johansson. Timothy Boyd Johansson. Yes, that's what I always do. I read these names as I would read them as an Estonian who doesn't speak any English at all. So this is how we would read them, Timothy Boyd Johansson. Thank you for joining up, and if you want your name butchered to oblivion, buy me a coffee, links in the description below. We go on, my friends, and now I bring to you a Russian deputy. And if you are a woman watching, I know the percentages, about 7% of viewers are women. Welcome, ladies, I'm very glad you're here. I would wish there's more of you. But if you are, you can really watch this even more closely. This is a Russian deputy making a video for Russian wives of the soldiers of the special military operation who have returned home and are maybe beating their wives. So what to do? This is a tutorial. What to do as a Russian wife. A husband returned from a special operations and beats his wife and kids. Yes, this is a problem, but a family one. Don't make it public. It's a wrong time. I advise such wives to understand that most of the guys are concussed. Therefore, there is no need to call the police. Contact a family therapist. Thing is, about 5-6 years ago, correct me here, Putin decriminalized home violence. What it means, I mean, it was a huge thing back then for European countries to see this, but what it means is that police cannot really interfere in somebody's home if a man is really beating his wife, just even really hurting or killing the wife. Police cannot interfere if it's a family business, if it's somebody's home. If it happens on the street, they can, but in the home they can't. So men beat their wives and kids at home. And police will be always called, but they cannot do anything according to the law because Putin made it so. And there was a big thing when it happened, remember. And now it's come up to this. Just endure it. That's a Russian deputy saying that. I mean, that makeup here is really strong. Perhaps it's hiding a blue eye. Who knows? Don't discuss it at work. Don't complain on social media about your personal family problems. These don't push it down. This is a teaching in Russia. It always has been. It's part of the Russian culture. This is why they drink so much. Because if you drink, you can handle it. It helps you handle it. All of that bubble inside you that is pushed down. Alcohol is a fantastic cure for it for 1 or 2 days. Then you gotta drink again. So yeah, this is what they teach. Everybody. Kids, wives. Not the men, because the men can, they beat their wives. That's how they get it out. And the wives then have to drink. Well, it's different means for everybody. But they teach, it's a cultural teaching in Russia. Now it's the final topic here, but it's a weird way to end it. It's not like this rosy news I always end it with. This is a Russian unmanned surface vessel. USV, right? It's like a Ukrainian sea baby, but a Russian one, which is bad news that they have it, and they do have it. This one specifically is with fiber optic cable. So a sea drone with fiber optic cable. I mean, Russians are really big with the fiber optics. They love it, and they deploy it in tens of thousands of units of drones on the front. But now we see it being used on a marine drone. And the way they use it is the fiber optics is weighted a little bit, so it's heavy and falls to the bottom. So it cannot really also be destroyed. It's in the bottom of the sea, under the sea, It's a really dangerous weapon. It's a really dangerous idea. If they're able to mass produce it, very bad news. I'm sorry to end this video like this. I shouldn't have. I'll begin it very brightly on Wednesday for you, my friends. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming back. Hit the subscribe and join on Buy Me a Coffee. I will be back for you on Wednesday. Until then, my friends, Slava Ukraini and bye-bye. Thank you, Fume, for sponsoring today's video.